Hello, beautiful people. Hopefully this works out better. I'm sending you all love. I think we're good to go. Let this video catch up a little bit. We could have some visuals. Yeah, you see how that happens when I when I redid this live stream? It's like instantly over 120 people joined right away. But the first time I did it, it took like 5 minutes for it to just reach 40 people. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. They're trying to like prevent this from sending out notifications. But I can imagine within, maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes of this being up, there'll probably be 200 or so people that join. So I'm glad I restarted it. Apologies for the technical difficulties for anyone who clicked the first time. I'm just trying to think about everyone. A lot of people wait for these Friday live streams, and I'm thinking about those people. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Let me know how my audio is sounding. Great. Okay. Everyone's saying the audio is good. All right. Well, first of all, sending you all lots of love. I hope everyone's having a really beautiful Friday or Saturday if you're over there on the other side of the pizza. I appreciate everyone joining in tonight. It's my favorite day of the week. Gonna be hanging out with y'all for a couple hours, watching some good visuals, handing out clear pills. Go ahead, grab yourself some water. Stay hydrated. Put some lemon in your water if you want it to actually work. I'm drinking some lemon water right now with some pink Himalayan salt and actually a little bit of lime added and concentrates minerals. Staying alkaline. Let's say hi to a couple people. We got about 200 people in here. I appreciate everyone. So, Sybil, sending you lots of love. What's up, Jeremy? Ishara, Jody, appreciate you joining. Shout out to Jody last week for keeping that chat at bay. It was like bedlam. Appreciate all your hard work, Jody. Matthew, Mick B, exposing the dirty few too. He says XRP hit 80 cents. Did it? I haven't looked at the charts in like 2 days now. I've been working 16-hour days minimum this past week, ever since I released that exit strategy. And I haven't even had the free time to get around to filming a couple more videos, which I plan to add to it. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but we'll say hi to everyone. Focus Point, Ted Beer, Northern Martin, Susie, Drewski, Damien Zenda, Love Money, appreciate you, much love. Eleonora, appreciate you. Liberty Prime, David, Jane, Bonnie said got notifications saying it's spicy time. Jesse says, no, no, don't email me with questions, please. It's not the place for emails. It's not the place for questions. Honestly, to be like completely honest with anyone regarding reaching out to me, it's Patreon messages. That's the only, like every 24 hours, I swipe through my Patreon messages about once a day. Um, that's, you could ask pretty much anyone who's a patron of mine. That's where I'm reaching out to people. That's how I'm keeping in contact with people. I'm no longer going to be using emails unless it's for people that have had email threads with me in the past, because my channel's getting really big and there's people creating scam accounts copying me. People are creating fake Instagrams, fake WhatsApp, fake TikTok, fake everything, fake email. So I'm done with email. Email's not secure. It's not a good way to contact anyone. And from now on, through my Patreon, which my Patreon is really easy to find. It's the second biggest Gematria Patreon in the world. So you could even type in Gematria into Patreon and you'll see me show up. So it's the best way to contact me. I'm probably going to get rid of my old email anyways. It's just, it's getting unbearable for me. I open up my email and I get like 100 sponsorship emails a day. And I'm never going to take a sponsorship. I'll never do a video like advertisement for some other company. I'll never do any of that. And that's what I get a lot of. I get a lot of that. So it's not the way. Got about 300 people up in here pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like this happened last week too, where I started a live stream and, probably a couple of you remember this. I started a live stream and there was like no one joining and I'm like, this is kind of weird, like it was just like a discrepancy. And then I ended the live stream and I restarted it and it was like right back to normal. So I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. I think there's some glitch with notifications and it's not me necessarily. I'm sure probably other content creators are dealing with that. So pretend with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thanks for supporting my work. Says, I finally made it on time, still at work, but set a reminder. Much love to you, Jordan. Thank you for being such a revealing, sharing light. I appreciate you. Thank you. That's what I do. It's my purpose. I really appreciate the love too. We need it right now. That's what we're focused on tonight, by the way. Like high vibrations. Last week, it started out really great, but then it started to like kind of veer off into a pit. So high vibes today. Vladi, appreciate you showing up. ETDT2 says, I learned how to time my first tie 18 years ago on YouTube. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. Like how this is like quite an intense platform. It has everything from like extremely numbing nonsense to like absolutely mind-blowing educational material that could change people's lives. Like, YouTube is quite interesting, It's the only reason why I stick to this platform solely in regards to my personal consumption of content. So like when I don't use Instagram, I don't use TikTok, I don't use Twitter. I don't even use it for my brand or for this business, whatever you want to call this channel. I just call it my art. But yeah, with that being said, I've been thinking a lot about that, how there's so much utility here on this platform, and I'm sure there's other, like, there's a ton of different types of YouTubes, and everyone has their thing to say negatively about these technocrat companies. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's like anything in life. You could use it as a tool, and the tool can be used to build things. It could also be used to destroy things and to dismantle things, right? So that's the way we need to perceive a lot of what's going on here in this reality. And I was just thinking about that the other day, how you don't even need school anymore. Like, you don't need education. Like, standard education is obviously a problem, and most of what you're learning is his story. It's not even, it's just indoctrination. I'm sure a lot of you already understand this, but when it comes to even higher education, it's like becoming completely obsolete just through tutorial videos and courses that are out there, and it's really amazing. It's like it's blowing my mind. I've been able to grow so much as an individual once I stopped looking at everything in this reality in duality consciousness, which is like good or bad or left or right or up or down or black or white. When you transcend past that way of analyzing everything, it allocates energy now for you to actually absorb wisdom. See, like, when you're consuming stuff and you're always trying to analyze it through the lenses of good and bad, you're going to keep failing over and over again, right? Because there is no actual 100% concrete truth. There is your truth and your belief. And if you apply your belief to something you believe is good, then therefore it is good, and it is just, and it is correct, and it is right. But that's where the mind starts to close up and tighten like a fist. Okay? So once you alleviate that way of perceiving stuff, I mean, of course, we have morals, right? There are obviously things that are vile and awful that not only humans do to other humans do to themselves, etc. We get that. That's obvious. But beyond that, when we're taking in information, just think of the word for a second. Information, like soldiers, like the way they have children walk through a school in a single file line. It's linear. It's like the time trap that we're spellcasted into. They want us to think we have linear time, right? You're 20 years old, you have a birthday, now you're 21, and here's things you're allowed to do now. They've set up this whole matrix by the numbers to essentially plasmatize all of this belief and all of this structure into things that don't even truthfully exist. They're make-believe. They're illusions. But because we all agree as a community on what those things are, and we have those defined boundaries of what those things are, it really starts to distort our ability to actually learn and to absorb new energy and skills and ideas and to enhance our perception. I've also been thinking about how, we were talking a little bit a couple live streams ago about this idea of the additive principle and how, like, that's the power of fasting, or and when I say fasting, I mean all forms of fasting from thoughts and gaining a little bit more control over the subconscious. You could call that meditation. Fasting from speech, like just being silent, giving yourself a moment away from being so verbal and reactionary through verbal, communication. I mean, there's so many forms of fasting, right? But with that being said, I was just thinking about how, like, how do I want to word this? My mind is going in so many directions when I start these trains of thoughts. I'm actually going to move on. I feel like I could rant and rave about nonsense indefinitely. Let's say hi to a couple more people. Bosnia in the house. Shay Robinson. Yogi Bliss, Sybil, again. You never got a notification on the first one, exactly. So yeah, there's something wrong on that first go around. What is going on, YouTube? YouTube got my back on this round though. I definitely sent out a Discord notification. But Discord notifications are kind of weird to turn on. You have to like go into your phone settings. If you want to get Discord notifications, you go into your phone settings and you scroll all the way down till you start seeing the list of apps on your phone, and then you click on Discord and then turn on the notifications. Or you go to the notification setting in your phone and then you'll scroll down so you see the list of apps that way. Martin, send you lots of love. Mississippi in the house. Lee Moore says, can we get a Gematria dating site? Ask Zach for help on that. I'm sure. I'm not going to go there. We're not going there. John, send you love over to Virginia. All right, everyone's saying the audio is good. Good. We should do another mushroom live stream soon. Maybe in a couple weeks. Maybe for 4/4 day, April 4th. Wait, when's the next? I'll schedule that out, and I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know ahead of time. We'll all do a couple grams together. Have a good time. I did pretty good that one live stream. When did we do that? Was that on an eclipse that we did? We did that shroom mushroom trip live stream. I feel like we did pretty good. I was expecting it to get a little off the rails. Like for me to stop caring about speaking. I was like, whenever I do them, I get to a time where I'm like, I don't want to talk anymore. I just want to like stare at the clouds or write music or something. I want to hear everyone's experience making art while on psychedelics. That would be really sick. We should do that in the Discord. We should set up a day where do some shrooms, and then in the art, music, text channel on Discord, we'll all make art that day and share it. Seriously, like the best community on earth. Like the potential here is immense. If the video is lagging for you, then stop watching it. That's all I got to say. I don't have enough energy to keep up with the lag and to what all the other things going on. We're just hanging out. Watch another video on your laptop while you're listening to this on your phone with headphones. Oh, so Jody says, talking about the waters above and the waters below. So yeah, I mean, I've told you guys before where I got my name from. It just comes from Genesis, and it talks about the firmament dome separating the waters above. And everything in this realm is as above, so below. So below this plane that we're on right now, which this plane is symmetrical, where we have an above Earth, like that we're on right now, and we have a below, which is turned the complete opposite direction, but it's facing the black sun. The black sun is beneath, and it shoots through. And through the center is the North Pole. They lie to us, anyways, through the center is what's the polar opening. This polar opening emits light that goes up and ricochets off the firmament dome, creating the optical illusion that we know of as the northern lights. And everything outside of this dome is an illusion because of the crystalline structure of the dome and the way that there's obviously dust particles in between us and the dome, and then there's refraction of light. But you kind of have to wrap your head a little bit more around the black sun below. And then Luna and Sol, the sun and the moon as we know it, are the ones that are above, the luminaries above. And the light that gives the light that reflects onto the moon that gives that its visibility is the black sun. So everything such as eclipses and all the other things that are going on are completely, make believe based off the way that we're typically taught it by NASA. But our realm is basically as above, so below. Everything is inverted on the other side. Starting to get a lot of chat action up in here. I seriously advise everyone who's into crypto. I mean, I've been learning more that a lot of people who tune into these Friday live streams like don't even actually have big investments in crypto, but for anyone out there in crypto, like take 2 to 3 days a week off of not looking at the charts and you will see you will go through withdrawals. Like, cause I tell people I don't look at the charts like 4 days a week, and they're mind blown. They're like, how is that possible? Because I'm not addicted. Like, I've been really seeing that people are addicted to this crypto shit. People are fucking addicted. Like, you just gotta, like, I know no one else is gonna talk to you like this. But people got to break this addiction. Stop looking at these charts, man. Like, you can't do anything about it. You can't. So stop. Like, if you're gonna look at them, study them. Actually, like, try to gain some knowledge from what it is you're looking at. But if you're just looking at the fucking price go up and down and the percentage move, you're gonna lose yourself. You're literally going to become a part of this AI game. You're getting absorbed into the virtual reality. You don't see it? Anyone out there spending all this time looking at charts all day, you're already in the metaverse, bro. You're gone. You're in it. You're in the game. Get off the fucking game. Like, do shit. Do real stuff. I have so many people who reach out to me all the time and all they talk about is charts, and I'm just like, but they're not learning anything. It's like XRP goes up by 3% and they're like, you see it's going up. Seriously, what? Like, you either need to be here for a real long time in crypto, or you have to practice not looking at the charts to get to a place where you could finally just like live a full day without caring and wondering what's happening. But people are suffering right now from like this virtual reality game, and crypto is a part of it, and they want people addicted to this stuff. They want people absolutely, like, they want your energy. Okay? They want your energy. If you're getting emotional to these moves up and down in the charts, they won. You lost. Somebody said you're not missing anything in crypto. It's been dreadful. Well, I'm not necessarily responding to what you just said right there, but I'll respond with something even more important for everyone. When it's dreadful, when people are laughing at you because you're buying, it's probably the best time to be in the market. It's when it's exciting and everyone has like a 24-hour like palpitating heart is when it's not a good time to be like heavily in the market. Like when it's real exciting is the opposite time to like be highly risk averse, right? So I was I was actually thinking about that too, like how I was looking through some of my sell orders on my holdings. And this is it. I'm not talking about crypto anymore for the rest of the night. Fuck crypto tonight. We're hanging out with each other. We're trying to have a good time. But I was looking at my last buy sell orders actually, and it was like 51K Bitcoin, 52K Bitcoin. I sold XRP again at the 140 level. It was like a day at that level before it dropped again. I'm like looking at all these sells. I think I sold a little bit of ETH at 4,000. I was staggering out, right? Back, I guess that would be September, like before the start of Shemitah. And as it went into the October timeframe. And I was just like, whoa, yo. Like I was making some really solid exits. And I'm thinking to myself, it's because I wasn't emotional. It's because I didn't give a shit. I saw the numbers reach my targets and I sold. I didn't care what anyone on YouTube thought about me or what the comments section said or what people in my community thought. I thought about myself. I thought about where I was with my investment, the same way I teach all of you guys this. You want to do what's best for yourself. When you're always doing what's best for yourself, you don't need to look at charts all day. You set up take profit limits or buy orders, buy limit orders, and then you just live your life. Go make a business, make some art, make music, hang out with your children, hang out with your wife. Go do something. But staring at the chart go up and down all day and you're not actually learning anything, what are you doing? Like, I know this is really confrontational. I know a lot of people like might be hearing me right now and they're like, whoa, this guy's saying everything that I haven't looked myself in the mirror and been, mature enough to say it to myself. But I've been there too. Trust me, I've been there too. Except no one told me to get off the chart. No one needed to, because I was spending 15 hours studying the charts, taking notes, going through notebooks. It's like, why does this moving average do this? Why does the RSI do this at this one point? Like, is 2-day MACD like a little bit more superior than like looking at the 3-day? Like, how does this correlate on this one asset versus this other asset? Should I be studying like the S&P 500 from 1950? Like, I did that. I put in the work. I put in that time. When you're studying like that, you're not looking at the price of the coin actively go up and down. You're looking at the past and you're learning. You're actually taking something away that could be utilized forever. But people need to hear this right now because market's up, market's down, and it's the same story over and over again. And I get it. And I think one of the biggest culprits into why people behave the way they do about this market is because the content creation is designed to keep people in that consistent state of FOMO and FUD. And then I guess they find my work and it's like, whoa, this guy's actually like taking 15 minutes to describe to me an idea that's unique and genuine and new. I know. It's like it's like you know what my work is like? My work is like a salad. It's like really like tons of nutrition, like real food. It's like actual food. There's like, you got to chew it, it might be a little bit bitter sometimes, but it's like, then you have the average thing that's going on and it's like McDonald's. It's like straight up just like French fries and burgers. And that shit's easy to eat. It feels good when you eat it, right? It's like ice cream. Doesn't it feel good to eat ice cream? Guess what, guys? I don't give you ice cream. I make you fucking work for it. But here's the thing. When you're done watching my content for a couple months, you're going to walk away with a new skill that you could use in all aspects of your reality. Whether it be decoding the news or decoding the charts or decoding, some sports event or whatever the fuck. Decoding your reality, your life. If that's the way you want to utilize it. But it's not ice cream. It's not enjoyable. It's like anti-fun. Abdullah, sending you lots of love. Says sending love and high vibrations to everyone in the community. Thank you from our team at the 3T family. Coach JV sends love. Tell Coach JV I said I got a lot of love for him, and I'm excited for our collaboration coming soon. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the 3T family. Indestructible Wealth with Joseph. I appreciate you, brother. This live chat's popping. Gary Busey. You said Gary Busey decode. Oh, man. I drink some water. Somebody asked me, what is my astrological sign? It's all of them combined into one. Sending lots of love over to Ireland. Oh, that's a great quote, Dustin. It says knowledge is a rumor until it lives in the body. Well, what's interesting about knowledge is knowledge gets elected to wisdom when it has utility. A lot of people know a lot of things, right? It's like you could have a full library full of books, but are you using the knowledge that's in there? Are you using the knowledge that you find in these books? That's what's interesting too. Like, some people are very good at learning things, and typically the people who are the worst learners are very, very good at applying the little bit of stuff they learn. It's like weird. Like, if you take a look at most CEOs and most people who've become like extremely successful that are running the show, they're kind of like, they're an enigma because they're not the most talented people. They're really excellent at delegating and figuring out who are the most talented people and leveraging on those particular talents and having those people never stray away from those specific talents that they thrive in. It's like looking at like a baseball team, right? Like you have a catcher who has a very specific role. You have first base, very specific role. You know what I mean? Like everyone plays such a specific role. And if you look at yourself as an entire team made up of different, players, which is literally how it works. Think about this, guys. You are the 12 apostles. Like you're all of the characters plus Jesus plus God. You're the whole show, okay? You might not perceive yourself as that yet, but you'll see where that goes. Like through enough life experience, you're going to become all the things. You become the universe, right? So in this path, there's going to be a version of yourself who is a Judas, who fucks things up, but it's always for the better of you. As long as you're continuing to serve your purpose, you're going to see how things like all of your mistakes become your greatest decisions, right? That's how you need to perceive, right? Say to yourself, all my mistakes were my greatest decisions. Okay? You say this to yourself like 5 times every day. You're going to see how you're reprogramming yourself to not look at a quote unquote mistake as a bad thing. All right? It's just part of the whole equation. This again comes back to this like duality consciousness stuff. Like when you're looking at a math equation and it says 4 plus 3 minus 2 equals whatever, are you perceiving the minus sign as a bad thing? No, you're just looking at it as part of the equation. So your mistakes are like the minus sign. Just, bear with me for a second. It's reducing the positivity for that moment, but it's all according to plan, right? Anyways, when you perceive all of these like ideas and challenges and opportunities and choices and perceptive, qualities about yourself, and you start to look at them more like different players in the overall team, right? You become the head coach now. You actually become like the movie producer and the main character simultaneously, right? Now you start to get control over what's going on here. And through this, we all desire for control, but we lack the utility of the knowledge we have. So once we start to get some utility behind the knowledge and that knowledge gets elected to wisdom, we could actually start applying what we're doing now. We could apply these ideas. It's not just an argument with your grandfather about what the shape of the earth is. That shit doesn't matter. Seriously, proving someone right or wrong, proving yourself right, proving someone else wrong, that's not how this world works. You'll stay at the lowest, rungs of consciousness if you keep trying to beat people or win or debate. Don't do that anymore. You're never going to get anywhere with someone who's asleep, right? So, again, we're speaking to a very specific type of individual in this live stream. If you've made it here, it's for a reason. So, all this knowledge we have, what is it worth if it has no utility? So once we start gaining that utility and we see that we are all the characters in this game, we can start compartmentalizing, all these things that I'm saying, and then reapply all these players to their proper positions. There's a version of you that needs to act accordingly in a certain situation in order to get by, right? Life comes with compromise. As long as you're in this matrix, there's 2 things you're going to have to deal with: stimulation and compromise. As long as you're wearing this physical skin suit body, you'll have to deal with stimulation and compromise. When you lack stimulation, you will seek it. When you want to actually be more stimulated and you can't get it, or when you don't want to be stimulated anymore and whatever that might be, then you're going to have to compromise. It's just part of the game. You're hungry, you seek to eat. You could apply all these ideas on your own time. But this is the basics, right? Like, this is one of the big things that I've learned, because as you're transcending through this game of life and you're picking up more data along the way, more information, when you're picking up all these ideas, you just want to go out and shout it into the world, and you want to tell everyone, like, this is the truth. And you see what happens when you do that? You see what happens when you tell grandpa that the earth isn't actually a spinning ball with curved water moving at 1,000 miles per hour whilst the moon is fixed in position and we could see the same face of it at all times. But when you say something like that, someone calls you a flat earther. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Where do you see what they're doing? They're labeling you. They're reducing you down to a label. They're reducing you down to a label because they're still caught up in duality consciousness. They're still looking to make you something. Don't let anyone make you anything. You're an infinite being of light. You could be anything you want to be in this matrix. But you have to accept that the other player characters in this video game are going to consistently go against what I just said. That's why they are agents. The Matrix movie was telling you the truth of what's going on here. You leave your house and you're surrounded by NPCs. You're surrounded by agents. And once they learn that you're deprogrammed, you're going to see how they treat you. They're going to treat you accordingly to the program because they were programmed to play their role. And their role is to have their energy confiscated from them at all hours of the day. And your role is to never let anything confiscate your energy unless you choose to have it to. It's a huge difference. So with that being said, you wake up every day and you start making conscious choices to not let your energy be siphoned away from you. You know, I said this once in a live stream. You have a gas tank. Your consciousness has a gas tank. Make it really, really expensive for someone to siphon your gas. Make it really, really, really difficult for someone to siphon your gas. All right? Don't argue with people. Don't debate with people. They're NPCs, man. One thing, though, if you speak your truth into this universe, if you speak your truths, and you're willing to sacrifice your popularity and willing to sacrifice your agreeability, yeah, you're going to have less friends. Yeah, you're going to have less family. Yeah, you're going to have less companionship. But the quality of the companionship and friendship and family you have will be high octane, you know? It's going to be like rare, precious gemstones. Just reading some of your guys' thoughts. Marcus Coleman, I appreciate you joining. Got about 400 people up in here. Beautiful. B Crypto Mike says money is an addiction for sure. So you know what's interesting about that though is money is just a form of currency, and currency is right there. It's telling you, it's energy. It's the currents of the sea. It's the waves of the ocean. And what's married to the waves of the ocean? The moon. And people, you know, in the conscious community will debate over whether it's Luna that we are using the word money like moon, or from moneta, which, you know, it doesn't matter. It's all just there in the language. And you could go back to the mythologies and you'll see all of these connections are more alike than they are different. There's a quality within all of them because all of them are, you know, they're all bloodline related. It's going back to the luminaries, the celestial bodies, whatever you want to call them. So Juno, as moneta, doesn't matter if that's where we get the word money from. But it's so funny, you say that the word moon is tied to money and then people start arguing about it. It's like, come on, guys. It's the flat earth, ball earth conversation all over again. Why do we have to go there? These are just some examples of what happens when you start breaking down the words, the spells. So Hassan Tazi, $10 super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. Says I moved to SLC 3 weeks ago. There's definitely an obscure energy in the city and in Utah in general. What's your thoughts on the geographical ley lines on this plane? Thanks and much love. Well, I've heard some people, like even astrologers out there, that have talked about how specific places on the grid are better to be for specific people. And I don't necessarily know if I would venture into, you know, plasmatizing any belief on that idea, but I do think you should just go to anywhere, and wherever you vibe the most is where you should put your body, right? You only find out through the experience and through breaking down, you know, your beliefs. So a lot of people, they think they have preconceived notions about specific places because of whatever they were told from others or whatever. But what I've learned is no one knows the truth except for you. So you have to go experience stuff. So now that you're there, Hassan, you know, it doesn't really matter what I think. It's more over like, what are you feeling, you know? But I have only had good experiences in Salt Lake City. I really enjoy Utah as a whole. It's a gorgeous place. It's so fun to hike. There's just so much nature. It's absolutely beautiful. I've only had great experiences there, but you know, me and you are different. We're different entities on different stages of our vibrational journey. And in that regard, you know, there could be synergy for you with some things you might have to overcome. I don't necessarily know what those things are because I don't know you, but you know, that's a huge thing as well. Like some people move to a place and they have financial stress, or they have family stress, or they have just, you know, a lot of like negative emotions tied to maybe back home. Like if you were to move away and you left a job or you left family or whatever, like those blockages that you have, that could also be, that could be manipulating the energy that you're feeling whilst you're in Salt Lake. And of course, what you said, I'm not purely taking it as you're having a negative experience. You use the word obscure, which I guess could really be anything. Just different. Perhaps you're feeling indifferent to the move. But I remember my first time going to Salt Lake, I was blown away. Like, I really was. Driving into that, like, valley of mountains, I thought it was gorgeous. So congrats on your move, Hassan. Maybe I'll see you around one day when I'm traveling through Utah. Zendalion, super chat. I really appreciate you, brother. I think this is Marvin, if I remember. I try to remember everyone, even though it's difficult because I'm trying to remember people's YouTube accounts, then their Discord, then their Patreon name, then their real name. But sending you lots of love. Says, thank you for all you do on behalf of all of us. Thank you. Really means a lot to me. I'm glad that you took some time to tune into this tonight and appreciate you supporting my work. The Internet of Bodies. Have you guys ever learned a little bit about Scientology? How like at the higher level of Scientology, they say that like every cell in your body is like a thetan or whatever. It's like you have millions of little aliens all over you. Apparently they tell you after you spend like $1 million. Like, talk about a bad investment. It's like it's like you invest $1 million to learn something that you could have watched a South Park episode and found out about. Man. Shout out to all the high level operating cults out there that have figured out a way to sustain their psychopathy amongst not only their members but their entire protocol. Mamma mia. What's their god again? It's like Xenu. It's a Lord Xenu. No offense if anyone here is a Scientologist. I mean, if you're a Scientologist, you probably wouldn't want to pay attention to my work. Or maybe you would. I don't know. Do they go into Gematria and Scientology? It feels like anything that revolves around like actually increasing your vibrational frequency is not part of Scientology. It's like Reviva Healing, sending you lots of love. I appreciate you. Oh, that's great, Dustin. It's great to hear that you're into filmmaking. That's like one medium that I really would love to venture more into, and I will once I'm done with my music project, probably sometime into the fall. Make some amazing videos to go along with that, or I'll have videos created with collaborations with other people. Liberty Prime said, "Damn, my wife heard you say go hang out with your wife." I did say that before, didn't I? That always happens to me when I'm like, I'll just like go into a string of spice poetry 2.0. Yeah, actually, somebody asked me if I'm working on a decode with Ukraine, and it's not like necessarily about Ukraine. You guys know the way that I like to decode. I like to be very multifaceted and tie in a lot of things together. And if I ever find any room for the mythologies, I try to focus on that stuff. So yeah, that'll be my next YouTube video. I didn't even have time to make another YouTube video this week. I literally just worked so much to make this live stream even happen because I really wanted to do this live, but I was just so backed up. But yeah, I have that exit strategy blueprint out now. It's on 20% discount for anyone who's a patron. So anyone who joins my Patreon, you get 20% off of that. I think it turns out to be like $44, and it has like 17 exit strategy videos right now. It's mostly completed. I'm gonna add like maybe 2 or 3 more videos just at the very end, and yeah, so it's like $50, $55 for people who aren't patrons. Super cheap for how much value is in it. I mean, just the XRP exit strategy alone is like a 30-minute video. It's probably the longest video in it because it's more of a course. It's not like my YouTube videos where it's like going over all this stuff. It's like very dialed in. Every video has specific, meaning behind it in the course lesson. But yeah, I worked really hard to get that out at this stage. I wanted to get it out while the market was in this sort of kind of energy. But that's how I roll. When I released my mastermind course, XRP was like fucking 18 cents. Bitcoin was like $10,500, right? And it's really easy to not take somebody's work seriously when they're releasing educational material when no one else cares about the sector, right? People wait to get into crypto and they wait to educate themselves when the market's overheated and high and the ROI is already gone. So one of the things that I did when the market, and this is just words of wisdom, it's not about like promoting my stuff. Like, I know my stuff is the best out there, there's no doubt about that. But when it comes to the way that I use my free time, when the market was boring and bloody and scary and weird, like right after the C word crash, I just fucking studied the market all day. Like, I just literally spent every moment of my life studying the charts and learning technical analysis so that I could answer my own questions. And then I was implementing this Gematria application and numerology, etc. And I saw, like, oh my God, this is life changing. Like, the world needs to know about this, So here we are today, obviously. But with all that being said, at first it was really hard for people to like understand what I was trying to deliver them because the market was low. So it was kind of smart, like, for people to kind of wake up a little bit from the prices hitting the market. But at the same time, it's a big life lesson for individuals now who got into the market a little late, because it shows you, like, it's so much better to be in a market when it's bloody and boring. Like, there's coins that used to be in the top 20 market cap in crypto that are down 90% right now. Fuck, like, that's the greatest discount of all time, and people are bitching. People are complaining. Are you serious? But it's because everyone's wired the wrong way. Everyone's sitting around saying it's a bear market, it's a bear market, it's a fuck. What are you talking about? Like, bro, zoom out. Bear market? Like, just stop. And it shows you, like, who's really an investor and who's here to just play the cycles of whatever YouTube, it's crazy. Like, I always had a 10-year, 15-year plan with everything that I've done in my life. Whether that be playing guitar, making music, getting into any endeavor. You can't just show up to something and be in it for 6 months and be like angry and upset that it's not going your way. That's madness. That's a sign of noticeable immaturity in a decision. And when you're making financial decisions, you can't think solely about financial freedom. You have to think about financial security. That's right there, like, something that I've talked about a couple times, and it's really just a game changer. Got to focus on your security with your finances. You make small, progressive moves over and over and over again for how many years? 5 years, 10 years, etc. And you see what happens from that. That discipline right there provides immense returns. All right, I got another super chat from Pretend, sending you lots of love. Says, could you take some time to speak about the possible near future and how dark it's likely to be, as far as a full integration of a global compliance system and also encouraging the inevitable importance of remaining pure? That's a beautifully worded statement. And by the way, this person's name is Pretend on YouTube. That's why I keep saying that. But I really appreciate this question. To be multifaceted and not solely based on the crypto idea, there's going to be ritualized parts of this realm all the time, right? So when we're speaking, we just kind of have to keep up with where the ritual's going, right? So in my opinion as a decoder, I think that this hardship that's going on with this Russia-Ukraine deal right now, whatever's truthfully going on, is really hard to... It's really hard to package up and deliver, because even me having the opportunity to talk to some people in the Ukraine, it's like not 100% what they're showing us. And Ukraine is not necessarily the smallest place on earth. So there's different cities. Everyone's going through something different, right? But I think I think if we look at the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl ritual, which I believe my decodes about the Super Bowl have helped people now see how the ritual itself can be utilized to decode other events, right? So the Rams, who won the Super Bowl, is Ukraine. The Rams were losing the Super Bowl at first. They were losing all the way up until the fourth quarter. Then they turned around last minute and ended up winning by the code, right? So I think Shemitah plays a huge role in all of this as well, and I think the eclipses play a huge role in this as well. And everything is tied to currency. So money is unfortunately a huge piece of it. And like I've exposed to people at least almost a year ago now, the Shemitah is a deflationary time for the world reserve, right? The smartest people in the world are de-risking their shitty currency and moving into US dollars, right? This is how it goes. This isn't my opinion. This is chart data that goes back 100 years. So during this time, it is also deflationary due to any big market collapses. But we typically see the market collapses happen at the end of Shemitah. So Shemitah ends in September 27th of 2022, around 27th, 28th. And then we have an eclipse, October 25th. It's really hard to determine how we're going to look between now and then on the world stage, but I do believe oil will continue to go up dramatically, and I do think the dollar will continue to go up dramatically, and I do see a market collapse, but not until after Shemitah, because that's what typically happens. But they've already started this quote-unquote war, conflict, battle, which is real, by the way. Like, some people are really, like, there was some real deal shit going on. So, like I've said in my last Red Pill episode, and I've tried saying many times, like, it's all love and high vibrations out to anyone who's dealing with this. It's really sad. Again, I have spoke to people in the Ukraine. It's not great to be dealing with such a thing, obviously. But the sell-off that we're getting in the market lately, a lot of what's happening in the market doesn't really add up based on this particular conflict. This is just a typical type of deflationary spike where you see precious metals, the dollar, and oil all go up synergistically very quickly. The RSI gets overheated, and then we do have a little bit of a pullback. So we're actually not even where we have some time to go. And I still see this playing out to become very, very hyperinflationary for things like food. So expect oil, and because oil prices go up, obviously moving food around because of truckers, just basic logistics, you're going to see the cost of food go up, and the cost of lumber, the cost of a lot of things. But we should have known this, anyone who's been following my work for at least 6 months or so, because we've been talking about Shemitah on this channel almost every single day. Every single video, excuse me. I bring it up, and I bring up the importance of this 7-year cycle and how this cycle plays itself in the market. We don't have a lot of data into how this acts necessarily in the crypto market, but again, like, we don't really need to talk about crypto in regards to this because that's what my work typically brings up anyways, directly talking about Shemitah, the Hebrew calendar, and the influence that it could possibly have on cryptocurrencies. But I see the next couple months in the short term being really aggressive when it comes to news and headlines and the exoteric stuff that makes normal people get very, very emotional and become very, very frightened, and it just steals their energy. The same way we were talking before about how people who pay attention to the charts all day lose all their energy, right? This is the way that regular people act over the news. People just sit there watching CNN, Fox, MSNBC, whatever the fuck it is, all day. Al Jazeera, BBC, whatever you watch. Just all fucking day. Just news. It's endless. So what I could say as any words of wisdom is get off of that stuff as much as you can. Try to make this particular year the year where you gain control over some of the imbalance that you've had. Whether that be imbalance in your emotional life, imbalance in your finances, whatever it is. This is not the year to be making huge, risky decisions unless the risk is you taking a risk on something that involves your creation. So understand what I'm trying to say. I never believe it's a risk if you are going to put out something into this world that you created, whether that be a YouTube channel, art, making a movie, whatever it is that's your form of creation. This is the year to not fuck around in your finances and all the other things, but this is absolutely the time to put something new into this universe. Give so you can receive. While the whole world is all caught up and distracted and all this stuff going on, become your creator. Become a creator. Take this time to put something out into this universe. Don't judge it. Don't think that, oh, I suck at making art, or I'm not good at, I do tarot readings, but I don't quite understand. Stop that. Stop that. If you're a musician, if you're an artist, whatever you do, stop thinking that you're insufficient. Stop thinking that you're not good enough at something. That doesn't matter. Because when you go into your creative process, whilst holding the ideas of judgment, especially external judgment from others onto you, that's gonna parasite you. That's gonna make it impossible for you to bring something new to this world that has high vibrations, that actually has vitality and life force within it. This is why for some people it might be very advantageous to do fasting or to do some meditation or to maybe take psychedelics or something like this, because it gets you separated from all the external and allows you that moment to go within. And when you're going within, that's where the true creation lies. That's where you can actually present something that you channeled in from something that it's like a channeling, like literally, like you're channeling in just like the way I'm talking right now. I'm not reading a fucking script. I'm just fucking speaking. And these ideas, they're just flowing in, right? Because I'm actually allowing these ideas. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to like speak a certain way. I'm not trying to say something that's going to make you feel good. I don't want to make you feel good. I want to tell you the truth. And the truth hurts sometimes, but the truth sets you free. So use this year to become a creator. Or if you are a creator, do this year with zero judgment from the external or any judgment that you have coming from yourself. Just be. Make. Don't worry about everyone else's ideas, everyone else's opinions, everyone else's thoughts. Just make shit. Then you don't need to really worry about what's going to happen in the next month or the next couple weeks. Right? I don't live my life worried about what's going to happen next. That's the next thing we need to talk about. Don't live your life wondering about what's to come next. Just live. Just live. If you're wondering about what comes tomorrow, you're existing, not living. They're different. You want to be alive. How could you be alive if you're worried about next month? Next month doesn't even fucking exist. It's not here yet. It's a figment of your imagination. And you're projecting how it will go based on all of this fear you have right now. True abundance is not worried about the traumas of yesterday or the possibilities of tomorrow. All things are infinite when you become in tune with now, with presence. That's where you really lock in. Everything else is a slippery slope into the infinite possibilities, and this introduces fears that don't need to exist either. I'm gonna turn on this light in the room. 1 second. All right, how's everyone doing tonight? Jody asks a very good question. What is the most important thing to consider for the next year or the next two to come? Supplies on hand, financial assets, community connections, etc. It's community. But here's the thing, Jody. You can have all the supplies, you can have all the finances, you could have $1,000,000, you could have all the community in the world. But it doesn't mean that you have love. And that's the most important thing. Like actually having love within every day of your life is enough. You're not worried about supplies or ammunitions or, what's going to happen with the next war or the community or all those things can be taken from you. All those things can be taken from you. Your money, your supplies, your guns, your land, everything. People say, no, that's not possible. Okay. Well, you've never studied the past. The reason this whole system of globalism is coming to a conclusion, or it's climaxing very soon, we're reaching the apex of it, was because of this utility of the technologies we have right now. Once the economy goes full-blown blockchain and humanity is on a social credit score system and there's no more government, local government, and it's all basically, the strategy is to make it all become one. It'll probably be ran by the Pope. When we get there, right? When we arrive at that moment, you're going to see how unimportant all that other stuff is, But this is one beautiful thing. If you do have love within, if you do have the ability to be an infinite creator, and you could stimulate yourself through creation or through just bliss, just being blissful, then you attract the right type of community. Then you'll get enough, right? So I would say besides the love of self and true love and really just having that as your main energy, then community becomes the second most important. But you could have all the community in the world, but if they're not built on the foundation of love and expansion and high vibrations, then that community could become an army. It could become a militia. It could become something quite destructive. It could become really bad, right? Like a cult where people start creating power hierarchy and position and roles, and this person gets to do this person gets to do that. A community could be a very toxic thing. And honestly, it has nothing to do with the leadership. It has everything to do with the overall, vibrational state of what's happening here. Sure, that could be delivered and managed by the top, and it could, influence what goes down in the funnel. But that's obvious, right? When you have somebody who's leading a community and they're not open to everyone's ideas and they're not open to sharing, art with each other, and everyone's being like, kind of scared to share their ideas. Well, that's obvious, right? We could see where that could go. And what I've learned is when we get to like a really dark time in our world, whether that be through finances or through supplies or through, jobs or whatever, humans turn into animals, like real, like horrible beasts, not actually even animals. Like we become demons. We will start killing each other, robbing each other's houses, doing all sorts of crazy shit because we lack. And that lack that we have is the lack of self. We're so disconnected from our power. We think we always need to externalize everything to be quote unquote protected, but we forget about the number one protector we already have. And that protector is within. It's your higher self. Your higher self's got your back. Here's the thing, right? A lot of people won't understand what I just said. So let's make you understand what I'm saying. There's been times where like somebody says, oh, I was about to go on a long trip, like a road trip, and something kind of told me that, I just felt weird. So I decided to stay home. And then I found out a day later that there was a huge car crash, explosion, 15 car pileup exactly on the road that I was supposed to be on exactly at that time. And I decided to not go forth with it, right? So think about this. Most people that are just trying to get all the supplies in the world, all the guns, all the like fucking, what are they called? Like preppers. These people are living their life as if every day, every tomorrow is a car crash. Like they're anticipating car crashes all the time, which makes their current life, their existence, the now, whatever I call it life. I consider it an existence for most people though. You're living every day as if tomorrow's a car crash. So the right now, you're just super paranoid. You're always fucking worried. You're like biting your fingernails. So having the supplies and the food preparation and the generators, that's all great. Like, don't get me wrong. But most people can't go 24 hours without fasting. So there's so many other skills that are way more imperative that require zero money. I rather invest in that. I rather invest in myself than investing in my local hardware store, thinking that I'm going to build a great wall around my quote-unquote palace so it doesn't get infiltrated, And this is how a lot of people live their lives, especially people who like are more quote-unquote enlightened and seeking enlightened communities. They get so caught up in all this preparation of like this doomsday outcome. They're buying like pails of food with like dry, like fucking, I don't even know, man. There's like these YouTube channels that promote this shit. It's like, so you're going to eat dead food sitting in a bin for 3 years when the end comes? It's like, I'm going to be meditating in a forest, hanging out with fucking deer. You guys could have fun with your end of the world trying to keep up this Matrix bullshit. Like, everyone just wants to hold on to this Matrix so fucking badly that they will do anything to protect it. So I know, a very opposite answer than perhaps what was being asked, but those are the best. Those are the true answers. We have all the answers within. Spice level is at like 500 tonight. Wow, someone said mammon. I was not expecting that. Yep. Some deep knowledge you have, brother. Mac man. Mammon is one of the conversation pieces for sure. But I mean, it's really Mercury. Like when most people are talking about most shit that deals with who's controlling this domain and who's the immediate overlord. It's not necessarily the god of Mammon, but I do see where some people would perceive it that way. Or, I mean, Mercury could be Mammon, but it doesn't matter. How's everyone doing? What are we, like an hour and a half in? These visuals are trippy, man. I have to like... It's getting intense up in here. Said we should do a Wolfpack hiking trip. You guys could do whatever you want. Like if you guys want to organize hanging out, like talk about that in the Discord. Like go for it, man. There's plenty of wolves like in every state. It's like we're close to having our own fucking government. Anti-government. What a low vibrational word. Government. Just saying it, just saying it, kind of like, yeah, such a gross word. It's clearly not what I meant to say about what we're doing, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Court Dama says you should be on a podcast with Joe Rogan. Really? You think, Court? You think Rogan would be about this? I don't know if Rogan would be happy with me. First of all, I would never do his podcast because he makes all of his guests get a COVID test or shit. They get a slipped up. He makes them get a C word test. You know, like what the fuck is up with that shit? They really believe that nonsense? It's like, come on, dude. But yeah, anyways, he makes his guests get C word tests and then, you know, I don't know, man. I haven't listened to a Joe Rogan podcast in a long time, so what I'm saying right now has nothing to do with Joe. And if it wasn't for Joe Rogan, podcasting would probably be much different. And it probably wouldn't be as much of a career path as it is today for a lot of individuals. So anyways, showing my respect, giving my flowers to Joe Rogan. But beyond that, when it comes to me and him, I just don't see that working. I feel like that'd be like an oil and water moment. But me and Joe off camera, that would probably be dope because he's probably not as controlled as when he's on camera, right? But if I really said like half the shit that I'm saying here on that podcast, oh my God. Jamie would be like fucking sweating. Jamie would be in the corner sweating trying to fucking Google all the shit that I'm saying. What a funny thing to imagine. I have to make myself laugh because if I don't, I wouldn't be able to do this for so many hours. Sliding with Sasquatch, appreciate your super chat. Says The Edge, there is no good way to explain it. The only ones that I know are the ones that have gone over. I know what you're saying. Love you too. Yeah, man, I know what you're saying. Like the depth of the ocean. You know, when you get to that place consciously where you're at like the bottom of the ocean where it's black and there's just nothing. There's like octopuses with like 30 arms and you're like speaking with it and it's telling you everything you always knew about. I've gone there. That is beyond the edge. That is like where no sound, no vibrate, like it's just like, whoa, you know? It'd be like floating around in this computer screen that we're looking at right now, in between this webbing. But yeah, when you really, really seek truth, when you really want to go there, it gets lonely. It could get very sad. It could be very confronting. So you need to like go through that though as an individual to let go of this duality thing. It takes a while because a lot of people haven't really gotten there. So when you're explaining to them this idea, they're like, what do you mean? Why? But isn't there like the white hats and the black hats or whatever? And I'm like, what are you saying? Like what CIA document did you fall for this time? You know? It's like if they can get you with the flat earth, then they could get you with the fucking QAnon, then they could get you with the fucking, it's like endless, the psyops. It's 99 psyops of fear on the wall. You're better off drinking a beer. Truth is a long hitchhike. Truth is hitchhiking through the desert with no clothes on and you're sunburnt and it sucks and there's no water and you used to have water and then the water spilled and your camel doesn't want to carry you anymore. That's truth, dude. Truth is like sunburnt. I hate this place. Can you just fucking, like, can I just go back to watching TikTok? That's like, you go so deep to the point you're like, ugh, I've had enough of it. You know? So I know what you're saying. Sliding with Sasquatch. I know exactly what you're talking about. The edge is one thing, but stepping over the edge, that's a whole different ballgame. You know that part in the Matrix where Morpheus is like trying to tell Neo to just jump? You know? Like this idea of just jumping. And obviously I'm not telling anyone to do this because that's a fucking movie. We're talking about the mind here. But when we're becoming a master of our mind, when we're becoming like the ruler of the dojo, you know what I'm saying? When you become sensei, then you have to deal with, you know, all the fear. Like, do I want to take this quantum leap? Do I want to go down this path? Do I want to examine these opportunities, even if they might result in my failure? Right? But guess what? The most amazing creation and the most amazing art, the most amazing things that have ever been presented to our species were because people decided to take that quantum leap. They decided to risk it to share something new with the world at the expense of hate, at the expense of judgment, at the expense of, you know, 1,000 no's and 1 yes. But everything that's beautiful about this experience is because of that. Is because of very few individuals deciding to jump. And of course, I'm speaking. This is deep. Just reading some comments. TOZ says, how don't you have 5 million subs? I don't know. My guess is shadow banned. I don't know. I think my channel is growing quite rapidly, actually. It's only been about a year and got about 30,000. So we're reaching out to a lot of individuals. A lot of high vibrational individuals. You know, I mean, my channel's not going to grow as fast because I don't talk about sports. I don't talk about news. I don't really talk about hype crypto shit. I don't make thumbnails with O faces in it. I don't show myself. I don't do so many things that would promote my videos growing to a larger audience, and I'm doing it purposefully because I don't want those people anyways. I want family. I don't want followers. I want family. I want a community of people that vibe. This is about high vibrational communication on a platform that is typically not used for such. But with what we're doing here, we're going to use their technology against them. Like, this is our way. You come out here, speak your truth. I don't care about this algorithm. Like, this is all about the right type of growth and the right type of expansion. Nothing else matters. Like, I see it all the time, like where big YouTube channels with 100,000 subs, they have 150,000 subs, but their videos get 10,000 views. My channel has 30,000, but 50% of my videos get watched by everyone who's subscribed to me. So that's a sign, you know? Spear says, it's been a true pleasure enjoying your work. Definitely vibes with my soul. Curious, have you ever been to Burning Man or Lake Atitlan, Guatemala? First of all, I really appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So no, I haven't been to either, but I would love to go to Guatemala for sure. I don't think I'm going to be doing any overseas travel out of the States for a while, just with the way the world's going and kind of where I'm at vibrationally. But no, I've never been to Burning Man either. I've kind of heard mixed reviews about that. I've heard that it's not. I mean, I'll put my piece on it, and this isn't out of judgment because A, I haven't been, and B, I just don't know enough about it to like really articulate what's going on here. But that is a ritual that is practiced, and it's very low vibrational ritual. Like, rituals of on that level are clear to me that they are practicing something that was intentionally designed by a higher entity that is siphoning energy through those rituals. So it's one of those things. You got to watch out with stuff like that. It's like celebrating Christmas and you learn what Christmas is all about. You know? When you learn the truth about these holidays, you need to stop. You need to eventually, ask yourself, like, do I want to keep partaking in this ritual where I'm part of a big experiment of my vibrational frequency being lowered? And these families, apex predators that have been ruling this realm for thousands of centuries are essentially utilizing these quote unquote holidays as an exoteric thing for normal people to be distracted whilst there's some really dark shit going on in the background, right? So we got to ask ourselves that, like, why are holidays and specific days, or do we do specific things during certain events? Like, why do we give our wife or our partner a ring when we're getting married? Why do the Jews step on like a glass at their weddings? Why do we practice these things? Like, why do people go forth with these rituals? Do they even know the reason they're doing it? Do they know the meaning behind what they're doing? So where this is going, right? Do people actually know the meaning behind why they're burning these wood, sculptures in the desert, right? Isn't that what Burning Man is? Let's pull up some we have the internet. We could use the internet. Oh yeah, look at that. Just look at that headpiece. Yeah, these people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. This is typical. This is typical, a bunch of woke people getting together who don't know the meaning behind what they're doing, and they're doing it, and they don't know how the energy works. And they give you an exoteric reason of what's happening in this event, and people believe in that idea, but they don't actually know the esoteric. But again, I'm not against people getting together and doing their thing and thinking that what they're doing is. But to me, it looks like they're celebrating the end times. It looks like Mad Max. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh shit. Yeah. This is woke gone wrong. God, I love stuff like this. See, this is like when I use the internet like a normal person, it's so much laughs. But don't take what I'm saying personally, guys. I'm looking at everything through a different lens than most. I've studied the background, the machinations of what's going on here enough to know what's up. Yeah, this is very awkward. Look at these people dressing up in headdress like they're Egyptians, and they probably don't know anything about those parasites. Wow. Yep, nothing like a bunch of white people dressed up like Egyptians. That's hilarious. Is this Vitruvian man in the background? It's the Allah. Oh no. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lose a lot of people because this is probably something that people like, and I'm shitting on it, kind of like XRP. I'm known for doing that. And then I have to tell people how it's my second biggest investment, but I still don't care. The truth sucks. The truth sucks, guys. This is a absolute pagan ritual. Mamma mia. All right. Well, I think we've seen enough here. Let's go back to this. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you didn't know what that was, there you go. Got about 450 light bodies up in here. I appreciate every single one of you hanging out with us tonight. Been about almost 2 hours. Jody says, my family can't really fathom my lack of fear. I know I am protected. 100%. That shit happens to me all the time too. Like when somebody's talking about something and they're just super worried and they're like losing their mind, and I'm just so chill, and they're like offended by how calm I am. Like, you know that you're at a different stage in life when people get offended by how calm you are. that's that's how you know you've put yourself through an upgrade. Great. Jody said, not an opposite answer to my question. Beautiful. I'm glad that that's always how I answer my questions though. So I'm glad that you asked it based on the community's vision, because that's very important. So Eric says if the dollar is going to keep going up this year, then they won't. Then won't crypto keep going down? As so yeah, that's kind of right, kind of not. Look at the dollar and how stable it's been over like the long term. Like it's a pretty big time horizon for these cycles of the DXY. Uh, but definitely check out that chart, like the long term DXY, and then see how it started to like change around the dot com bubble, and then how what has gone on with the dot com you know boom and bust, and the baton was handed off to the cryptocurrency sector. You could see a lot of similarities, and then you could apply kind of what happened between the time frame of the dot com bubble, maybe like 98 through 2001, that whole time frame. You could take the popular the ones that made it, the popular tech stocks that made it. Amazon's a great example. Or you could just take the indices, obviously, if you wanted to just take NASDAQ, if you really wanted to hone in on that tech sector. And then just look at the correlation between the DXY and what it did to that sector, and then kind of drag it over and see how the dollar has been since Bitcoin has been implemented, like as a tradable asset. It wasn't immediately like easy to get Bitcoin at first, right? Like it was quite complicated. So that skews the volatility of it. That skews the way that it was fairly priced. Of course, it took a very long time for them to be able to figure out like how to even make this for like maybe 3 years or 4 years. Bitcoin wasn't even an idea that was tied to a dollar value. It sort of was, but nobody could really agree on what the fuck the value even was. It was probably up until 2018 that people started to wake up to the idea that you can tie a value of a real tangible currency like a fiat money to a crypto or a digital asset. It took some time for that to happen. So why I'm saying this, Eric, and this will be my last crypto question for the night, but I think Eric asked a good question, is because we only have about 4 or 5 years of chart history with this whole show going on. And even with that being said, in 2018 into 2019, a lot of those coins that had blow-offs that were lower market cap in the cryptocurrency sector went away. They were rug pulls that went to zero that never made it to this cycle, right? There's not a lot that made it through to this cycle, like what we would call OG coins. And the OG coins are coins that some people might be considerate in the 2015 kind of starting point, but it just depends on where you're at with your overall thesis. Again, I'm a student of this market. I study it in and out through the charts. So I have like a little bit more of a grasp on these ideas. I'm a little bit more open-minded than most when it comes to how this is all going to turn out. But I just look at the dollar as deflationary based on Shemitah. And when it comes to Shemitah and crypto, we've only had one moment where we were in Shemitah for a whole year, from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. And that was the 2014-2015 time. So that was when Bitcoin was at its most affordable price. If you go back to the charts of last Shemitah, you'll see that it was the bottom for Bitcoin literally from September till the following September, 2014 to 2015, I believe. That was gorgeous. Like anyone who bought during Shemitah got to see the beauty of the parabolic run that went into 2017, correct? So again, like I don't get why everyone gets so caught up in this bear market, bull market. Like Bitcoin and most cryptos are in a forever bull run. Even Amazon is in a forever bull run. Like the tech stocks are in a forever bull run. You could only consider them bearish when you're living through a phase of downside. But then the recovery leading to price discovery, you see that there's no true price discovery mechanism on these tech stocks or on crypto. You know, it's just infinite. It's like infinite alpha. It's called venture capital. It could go to infinity or it could go to zero, right? So that's what's really interesting about the idea of precious metals, because precious metals clearly have a very defined mechanism on them that suppresses their ability to continue to enter true price discovery. So I was saying before about no true price discovery mechanism on the crypto sector. I guess like what I'm really trying to say here is that we as a species have not come to an agreement on what they truly are just yet, and they haven't been put into everyone's hands just yet, you know? So that's a huge thing. Like you'll see once crypto becomes a everyday conversation where everyone gets forced into crypto through their government implementing CBDCs or some sort of stable coin like currency that'll take over the current cash system that we're using today, which is in the works and I suppose will be completed way before Agenda 2030. With that being said, you know, you walk down the street and you tap someone on the shoulder and you're like, hey, do you know about Ethereum? And they're like, what did you just tell me? They're like, are you trying to ask for my phone number? Seriously, like no one knows what crypto actually is. There was like one moment between March and May of 2021 where people knew about Dogecoin. But besides that, people know about Bitcoin And that's about it. And most of the people that know about Bitcoin are like, it's a scam. Or they say, like, I don't trust it because the government doesn't, whatever, Or I heard Warren Buffett call it rat poison. Yeah. So again, we're clearly far away. It's still a very nascent asset class. So whatever's going on with the DXY, we just don't have enough chart history to really like make a conclusion as, again, I'm a technical analyst. I need data. I need information to give responsible information and conclusive ideas. So we're far away from that, and that's a good thing, by the way. That's a very beautiful thing. I think just by me going into that little, 5 minutes worth of explanation could revitalize a lot of people's perception on what we're doing right now. We're like in the tech sector before the tech sector became an everyday name. We're like in Amazon before Jeff Bezos was like King Lizard. We're by having crypto right now, I don't care which one it is. You could say Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, doesn't matter. All of it. Most of it. I wouldn't venture to say all of it, but I would say, the top 10, top 20 market cap, maybe top 100 for the most part, ISO 20022 coins, all the stuff that's tied to like actual real use case fundamentals, whatever you want to say. But we're in that stuff right now before Elon Musk got hair plugs. It's like being in Amazon before Jeff Bezos got a hot wife. Before these billionaires could actually buy their way into like their plastic surgery that they got. It's like when Amazon was selling books. That's what it's like to hold XRP or Ethereum. You're in it whilst it's not a thing on a global level. Like no one really knows about it. It's not being used. You just have the people that are the most sophisticated in their investment thesis considering it. And that's really all that matters. Like it doesn't matter what anyone else's opinion is. Every 4 years, someone says Bitcoin's a scam, Bitcoin's going to zero, and then we see Bitcoin has a halving, and then it goes up double, 300, 400, 500%. It's time and time again, right? And then we see venture capital shit go up 10,000%. It has no use case. It's completely, dildo coin goes up 100 million% or whatever. So everyone's wasting their time thinking about like all of this excess, studying the white paper. Have you guys ever heard me speak about a white paper? No. There's a reason why I don't. Honestly, it's venture capital. If you have $1,000 profit every month from some cash flow system that you've generated, whether that's your business or a job or some sort of passive income stream through whatever it is you're doing, park a little bit of that money in pretty much any crypto that you believe in, that you personally are willing to risk money on, and wait 5 years, and I think you're going to be happy. Once you could do that over and over again and build a system of discipline, you're no longer worried about the chart going down 10% tomorrow. That shit doesn't matter to you. You look at every red day, or in my case, I look at the full moon. I just use every full moon as an opportunity. Like, what do I want to do with this market? You could consider the same thing on the upside if you're somebody who likes to swing trade. Looks like a Michael 2-car got the boot. Jody pimp slapped that guy. Jordan, what is the one place you want to visit, travel to? Ooh. Shit. I haven't thought about that. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've gone most of the places that I've wanted to. Okay. I know. Madagascar. Madagascar. I just want to hang out. I just want to hang out with lemurs all day. That's all I want to do. Yeah. I want to go to Madagascar. Hang out with lemurs. That's it. Nothing else matters. We should have everyone. We should have everyone one day, like try to get all of the subscribers here, all the people in the mastermind community on Patreon, go over to the most recent Joe Rogan podcast and just say, "Bring on Waters Above." It's gonna be me, Alex Jones, Tim Dillon, Ghislaine Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein stunt double, Vladimir Putin, Joe Biden without his mask. We'll just get the whole round table. Klaus Schwab, fucking Bill Gates, Bill Gates' husband. We'll get Barack Obama. We'll get Barry Santoro. We'll get Michael Obama. Oh man, we got to get the whole squad. Next time Joe Rogan has a podcast, we got to get everyone to just go over to Joe's channel. Does he still put his videos up on YouTube? I think he did like Spotify or some shit. It's how disconnected I am from what this guy does. But yeah, we all have to storm over and be like, you got to get Waters Above Crypto on, man. Because now that you guys brought that up and you keep commenting about it in the chat, I'm just thinking about how fucking hilarious would that be if it even caught their attention. So funny to think about. Also, we need to get just the round table I just brought up. Holy shit, that's too funny. Whew. Yeah, I love all you guys. Tonight's the night. Fiona Black, I appreciate you. I'm glad that you like the VeChain decode. That's what it's all about. Sending love over to Victor in the Bronx, New York, in the house. Sending love to all my New York family. I'm just reading some chat. Paula Rose, you'd be surprised what you find here on YouTube, right? Yeah, I love reading chats or when people reach out to me and they're like, I don't even like go on charts or invest in crypto or just watch these Friday live streams. I love that. That's like my favorite. That's like a huge compliment in a way, because it's like a crypto channel, right? But I remember when I first did the first live stream, I was a little bit apprehensive because I just didn't know if people would vibe with it, because I wanted to talk about all the things. And then we did it and it actually Yeah, it was like the best decision. See, that comes back to what we were talking about earlier. If you guys have been here in this live stream tonight for a while, you remember that moment a little bit earlier when I was commenting on this idea of like just put out work, put out your voice, do whatever you got to do. Like use this internet as a tool like of expansion, right? And don't be scared. Just do it. You'd be surprised like how many people really vibe with you. And you might think that you have like, maybe bad public speaking skills or whatever. Like my whole thing is like I just have an extensive background in education and teaching people. Like everything I've ever done, I've been a teacher in everything I've ever done. And a lot of my professional career was me helping teachers become better teachers. So that's like if I was any position in this matrix, like it's like chief, like I'm like that's like my role. I'm like CEO. But what makes me a different type of CEO is I'm actually a creator. Most CEOs don't create, So it's just we're all just like different. We have to know our skills, but also when you're aware of your skills, you can't be ashamed or scared or worry about judgment. You just have to go out and do that. Just go do it. You'll be surprised. So I'm seeing people have spoken about the Burning Man thing. I've ran into that part of the chat. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been. I don't really know what's going on with it, but I could just tell by the what I saw in those pictures and what people have described to me in the past. And I believe, I try to be super neutral, like I did before I started getting into that, and just say that I don't know it personally. I don't have any experience. You guys know me. When I don't actually know, I lay that out there as the foundation. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so Jody makes a great point, and I believe I touched on this too. She says, "I only heard the ritual side of Burning Man recently. My friends who have gone there had a blast. Crazy the dualistic side of things. So again, Jody, remember, it's like kind of like this conversation, and I know you would kind of have a little bit more understanding than the average person because you're a mother, right? You have children, and you might have been in scenarios in your life, or maybe you still practice like Christmas or Halloween with the kiddos, and I get that. Like I've been through it. We all go through that, and I'm not telling you how to do your life, or I'm not telling anyone anything about how to change, right? That's not my mission here on these live streams. Please remember that, everyone. Like if I ever present an idea of something, it's because I practice it. It's my way of experiencing this matrix. I never want to push any agendas on anyone. People ask me questions in these live streams. I tell them my truth, right? But with that being said, like sometimes it's awkward. It's awkward to not be a part of society with practicing things like Christmas or Halloween. If you're a mom or a dad, especially if you're a parent, other parents might think you're crazy. Like, why aren't you taking your kids out trick or treating or whatever? Of course, I'm talking about America. If you're not in America, then I get it. You don't do that particular holiday. But let's just say you're talking about Christmas, right? It's a very globally recognized holiday. Or let's just say Ramadan, right? Again, globally practiced, and trying to be as inclusive as I can for anyone who's choosing to practice these holidays, but maybe you're doing it unconsciously. Like you don't even know why, or you're just there, you're having a good time. It's like, I want to go hang out with my family. We eat some food, we talk shit, whatever. We're having fun. That's the thing, right? Like I'm all for that. If people want to go do that, then that's great. Like I would never want to take that from anyone. And I've struggled with this in my own life where people are like, oh, you're just not fun. You just don't want to do anything. You don't want to go out. It's like, no, it's because my fun is not your fun. My fun is changing the world. Like my fun is writing a song. My fun is helping another individual. Like I don't think fun is watching television and complaining about Joe Biden and Donald Trump and eating bad quality fried food or eating candy all night. Like that's just not what I think is fun, but I don't want to take that from somebody, I get a lot of people love that shit. They think it's great. So now we come back to Burning Man and your statement. Like, yes, a lot of people go to these festivals and they have a great time, and that's awesome. Go have fun. But like once we all start waking up and we start seeing that our energy is literally being used like a puppet, who has the puppet strings? Not you. Now, if we really, really, really want to grow, we start seeing that we're the puppet master. Before, we were some puppet connected to strings, and we don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to have a government. I don't want to have a president. I don't want to have any of that shit. You become the leader, and you get your energy back now. You're the fucking king or the queen. You can't be in control of that role if you're allowing all your energy to be ritualized with this dark magic that's going on in the background. You might not know that you're a part of it, but again, a lot of things you don't know are going on behind. A lot of people just don't know what's going on. Look at my work with exposing Gematria and that layer of our reality. Decoding in general. You know, look at Logan's work over at Decode Your Reality, which my brother Logan is fucking amazing. Like his work is mind-blowing, exposing this. It's what we don't know that's actually happening behind the scenes that we could figure out. When we start to figure all that stuff out, it like cracks open your reality and it allows you to actually see it from a new dimension that you've never seen it before. So again, like I'm cool with people having their fun, you know, go out, do your holidays, do your this and that. But you're going to see like over time, the more and more you start getting in tune with your higher self and getting in tune with this love-based vibration, you're going to enter these events, these rooms, these places, and your aura is going to start to get like infiltrated by this darkness. And you're going to be like, yo, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, ugh. Like, get me out of this. Like, I don't need Christmas to go call my mom and be like, let's go out for lunch. I love you. Like, I'll just call my mom on like a Thursday and be like, yo, I'm taking you out to lunch. I don't need to see her once a year because it's Christmas. And I feel like that's another huge layer of like what's become of this planet. We all just hang out with our quote unquote family because of some made up day on a calendar. We don't have real love for our family and friends. We have fake love, and we only apply that moment of giving them attention when there's some food in front of our face and presents to open. And I learned this as a very, like, when I'm super, super new to this Matrix reality. I was just like, you know, in my baby stages being like, none of this makes sense. Why are people doing this? Why? I just always thought it never resonated with me. But that's because I'm an alien who lives outside the firmament. So, of course, none of this makes sense. But that's a side note. So, there it is. You know, we all have our fun when we're having our fun. But once we become a little bit more conscious to what it is that we're a part of, and we see that the ritual is going on, and we're not quite, you know, we're waking up to it, right? And now that we've become enlightened to it, we see that there's the dark forces that can manipulate and control or quote unquote influence us to be their energetic currency, their food, right? So when I was looking at those Burning Man pictures, I know what that is. They're organizing a bunch of people to get together to do a fire ritual, and on that fire ritual day, the elites who are the apex predators, whatever you want to call them, you're doing the dirty work for them. The people who run this show are wizards. They're high-level magicians, okay? You're just doing all that Aleister Crowley shit for them. They don't even have to lift a finger. They'll say, "Oh, I'll let these fucking hippies go out and do it. They'll do the ritual for us. We get to sit in our leather chair drinking scotch. Take all their energy." Like, probably weren't expecting me to say that. But if you want to know how they're getting their energy, this is how they do it. I mean, and that's just one component. I would love to know how many missing people happen at that event. I bet you those statistics never get spoken about. Does that event happen on a full moon by any chance? Is it happening on a solstice? I bet once you start seeing more into what's really going on there, you're going to be like, yup, This is aligned with the cosmos in a specific way so that a very small group of people can take advantage of people. And what's so hilarious about all of it is people are going to pay money to be a part of that ritual, and they don't even have an idea about what I'm talking about right now. They're so disconnected from those layers of truth. Just like we do it with Christmas, just like we do it with Ramadan, just like we do it with anything. We have no idea. But there it is. And then people wonder, like, why at the higher levels they're using all this symbology of the sun and the moon. Why they're using these luminaries as their symbols. Why are they using the serpent, the Caduceus, as one of their symbols? You know, tied to Hermes or Mercury or Quicksilver, whatever you want to call it. Why are they using these symbols? Well, there you go. You're starting to learn now what's going on here behind the scenes. The worship is in you guys, believe it or not. This is what I tell people all the time. They think these elites are doing all this bad shit. No. They're letting you do it. You do it. Doesn't it suck to take personal responsibility and know that you've been used because you let yourself be used? It's so easy to hate them, isn't it? Isn't it so easy to hate Bill Gates and hate fucking Baron Rothschilds? Guess what? The guy doesn't lift a finger. He doesn't. He sits in his comfy chair and we just do the dirty work for him. And it starts with these things. It starts with these examples that we've just given. I've seen people in the chat saying that I was about to go to that thing. I'm not trying to tell people, like, I'm not trying to tell people, you know, what to do. Go, you know, why don't you go? Protect your energy. Do your light work behind the scenes. Go for an hour if it's worth the trip. I mean, I don't fucking know. See what it's about for yourself, right? Like in the story of Jesus Christ, like becoming a hermit and going and figuring it out. Like go to the Egyptian mystery schools and learn the craft. Like if you want to learn how to use the craft against these wizards, you have to go study it, right? I mean, how else could you contend against them? There's a reason why they say knowledge is power. You look at the people running the show, they're not physically more dominating than you are. They can't beat you up. They can't fight you. You outnumber them substantially, that's for sure. They're all decrepit, old clones. They're mostly jackals. They operate within a bandwidth of frequency that our eyeballs can't even fucking see. I mean, just think about it. There's like actually, have you guys seen that movie Monster? Or no, what is it? It's fuck. It's like called Ants or something. I don't know. It's like a Disney movie where there's like these crickets and these ants, and the crickets are like talking shit to the ants and saying like the whole plan. They're basically telling them like, hey, you know, the reason why you guys keep doing what you're doing is because we've been just telling you, you know, we've been influencing you. We've been influencing you to work for us and to be our food willingly. And if a couple of those ants woke up and started helping the other ants wake up, the crickets would lose. They would become dominated. They would be outnumbered substantially. And what's funny is while the ants are working and giving themselves away energetically to the crickets, the whole time they're blaming the crickets and hating them. You see what's going on here? Part of letting go of fear and replacing it with love to allow is actually not giving it energy any longer. The way that this whole system starts to collapse is when the ants stop giving the crickets attention. Don't give their influencers any attention. Don't worry about none of that. If we all stopped caring, if we all stopped giving it our attention, it would start to self-destruct. The whole system would start to instantaneously collapse. And you could do it passively. You don't need a single weapon. But you see how you could have all the weapons in the world. You could all be armed. You could all have bullets stacked up to your ceilings in your house. And you're still going to pay that fucking taxes. You're still going to put a social security number on your child. Right? The truth sucks. So you could complain about it all day. You could bitch and moan about it all day. But the way we win is by not giving it attention anymore. And we can't do that alone. We have to do that as a species. So you'll see that this matrix is a conundrum. Because how do you get everyone to operate? It's not that this place isn't meant for that. So the only answers here lie within yourself and how you're going to operate through this matrix. What are you going to do about it? While everyone else is trying to, figure out who the fucking white hats are, wasting their time, you could be doing your own work on yourself. And throughout this process, you're preserving your energy for what matters most, and that's you. Don't forfeit that energy to what's going on with Kanye West or with fucking Vladimir Putin or what's going on with the XRP SEC case. Move on. Move on. Love yourself because the answer is within you. It doesn't exist externally in news headlines. It doesn't exist in you talking shit about George Soros. You could talk all the shit you want. He's still sitting there making $1 billion a day. And you know what? He loves your hate because he's an alchemist. So that's another huge part of this whole conversation for everyone. You want to become a better version of yourself? Learn how to use external energy that's pointed at you and transmutate that energy into something you could use, aka comes back to our gasoline analogy. Not only do you want to make your gasoline extremely expensive to have it siphoned from you, but you want to take everyone else's gasoline free of charge. If somebody wants to talk shit about you, somebody wants to say negative stuff, somebody wants to tell you you're ugly or you're fat or you're a loser or you're whatever, learn how to take that energy and transmutate it. It's gas that is free of charge. They just gave you a free meal. Say thank you. Like whenever other channels or people in YouTube or whatever, whenever they're throwing shade at me, I'm like, thanks, brother. I wish I could give him a hug and a kiss on the forehead. I'm like, you chose the the best guy to hate. It's like you're working with Merlin right now, baby. You know how long though? You know how much it takes to let go of that? To let go of all the hate and all the protection of image and the maintenance of the ego? What an exhausting fucking mission. But once you stop giving a shit and once you let go of once you stop caring, this is really what it's all about. Once you stop giving it attention, it's like you get elected. That's the 33rd degree. Like I just told you guys what the 33rd degree is. The platinum medal, whatever you want to call it, the crown that gets placed on the head. It's becoming a master of attention. Because when we're in this physical realm, when we're in the physical body, that is a extremely valuable currency. It's attention. And when you see yourself becoming very picky and choosy about where you want to elect attention, you start seeing like, wow, you know, abundance was always there for me. And every time I pointed a finger and I hated something, you know, people who like watch videos and then leave negative comments, it's like, think about what that person's doing. They're taking time out of their day, attention, and applying it towards something that they quote unquote don't like, but that proves that they worship it. That proves that they actually love it because it's a reflection of what they are. They fear something about themselves. They fear their lack of understanding. They fear their lack of their ability to come out and create content and share it with the world. And I mean, the worst, or I don't want to go into the terms here, but one of the lowest vibrational things that could ever exist is other content creators that put down other content creators. That's something that's clearly something that, you know, I have no time for that. I thought we were here as a big family to help each other. You see tarot card readers, people doing astrology channels, people doing this. We should all be working together, man. We're helping each other crack the code. This, I'm right, you're right, or this person's spot on, this person's always wrong, Stop that. Stop. We're all just doing our part, bro. But the content creators need to start working together. That's why I'm on my journey. Like, worked with Ani a couple weeks ago. Much love to Ani. I worked with Donut Factory recently. We're going to be getting together very soon again because of popular demand. People want me back on his channel, I believe. Brother Alex reached out to me, so much love to him. Me and Logan are always connecting. So that's what it's all about, man. The content creators got to get together and create art together, collaborate. Me and Ian are going to be making music soon. So that'll probably be something to talk about maybe after the summer. So I got music coming. Just going to share all the creation with the world. Like, get people to realize that you can do it too. All right, I'm reading through some comments now. Jody, you should, again, feel free to write those ideas inside of the Discord. If people want to get together to hang out, meet up, wherever, I'm down. Just no organization of protest. I don't want to be tied onto any of that low vibrational shit. But if you guys want to get together and make music, hang out, have a beer, whatever you want to do, man, send each other private messages. The Discord's all about, you know, connecting. So I'm totally down with if people wanted to. Also, you know, inside of our Discord, we have the ability to do, what is it called? Excuse me. Like video live streaming and stuff like that. So if anyone in the community has something they want to share, or if they want to do their own live streams within the Discord, like that's what it's there for. There's a bunch of channels for people to talk. You know, I would love for the community to go more that route because as you know, I'm working 15, 16-hour days on average. I got a lot going on. I'm opening up to some more private clients soon too, actually. So I'll be taking on some more one-on-one coaching clients. And I just have so much on my plate and I'm trying to stay busy with that kind of stuff. So my live streams are only once a week, but that doesn't stop the community, which has 1,000, you know, multiple thousands of people to get together and make their own live streams. Like I would love for, I know there's some decoders in our community that are always actively decoding. Some of them specialize in particularly in astrology. Some of them really are into just Gematria. Like all of that stuff is beautiful. You know, I want this community that we have to be the most artistic and like creative community that could possibly exist in this world right now. Got to step away from all the sharing of news and talking about like all that. None of that matters, man. I was even thinking about like leveraging the health and wellness. You know, I would love for people to share like recipes. Maybe like if they're a chef out there, you like to cook, you want to share like recipes, like do all of that stuff. I mean, maybe we just need to have a big talk in the community and explore some ideas. I could talk about that maybe not in this Red Pill podcast. I'll bring it up maybe if I could remember. But that'll be something awesome too. Just to like explore all those ideas. If you're someone who makes music, if you draw, like whatever you do in our community, share it with us. M. Richards said, thoughts on yoga? It's amazing. Do it. Just when you do yoga or you do any practice, don't do it because of the aesthetics and the materialistic side of it. Like there's these girls that do yoga just because they want to have like 1,000 pairs of $100 yoga pants so their ass could look better. Like stop that. Do yoga to make your body more flexible so you could prevent dis-ease. It'll help your body's organs realign properly. Your chakras will be realigned. It'll allow you to fix breathing problems and obstructions in the body, in the blood, and in the lymphatic system. It'll move lymph. It'll allow you to become a much better version of yourself. It'll clear you out. So yoga's great, but when you get into yoga just because you want to look sexy or you want to look cool, or these guys that are doing these handstands, fucking flipping around and doing all this shit, yeah, your Instagram looks real cool, bro, but like you're just, I'm not even going to say it. You know where I'm going with this. So when you get into like anything, it has to have intention, right? Like people make YouTube channels because they want likes and subscribers and fucking clickbait, this and that. Some people make YouTube videos because they want to share like actual educational content with other people so people can learn. So it's all about how you want to go about it. But it's important when you're getting into yoga because it's a very, very, very energetic practice. It could invite a lot of energy into your life, and that could also include dark energy. So when you get into the practice of yoga, you want to have the right intent. I think that's probably the most thorough answer that I could give regarding that question. A. Watkins says, is it a good idea to start my waxing spa business? So, you know, I don't know your first name. I'll just say Watkins. You should do whatever it is that you feel you're ready to do. You know, like the one thing I will say, though, is real estate is quite high right now. So you'd kind of be buying at the top. I don't know what your situation is with your spa and like how you're planning on building that out. I'm not telling you to like not do it. I'm just saying that like a housing crisis and potential big correction in real estate is on the horizon. I can't really be perfect in my timing, so I would suggest you study the 2007-2008 housing crisis and see how that happened at a Shemitah, just like we're in Shemitah now, and we've seen what the C word has done to inflation of the housing market. So just look a little bit deeper into that before you make a huge financial decision to actually purchase a building, if that's the scenario. But if you want to make something or do something and put it out into the world, then do it. Don't wait. Do it. Jason Martin says, do you think humanity will move towards privacy coin? No. Privacy coins aren't private. If it's on the internet, it is not private. Privacy coins are a psyop. It's a cute idea. It's something people like to think is real, but it ain't. If it's on computers, it's traceable, it's tracked, they know where it's going. The designers of blockchain technology are occultists who literally designed the protocol and algorithm behind everything else that came before blockchain tied to the stock market, and that was a system of control and keeping track. The whole idea and the outcome for blockchain and cryptocurrency is so that everything is traceable and tracked. Privacy coins aren't private, though. People like to believe they are. And a very unpopular statement that I just made that I've gotten a lot of hate for in the past. And the reason I've gotten a lot of hate for it was because this was at the time where these privacy coins, or like, Darrow, Pirate Chain R, they were doing really well. So people were getting offended by me saying this when the coin was up. But it goes to show you how things work, I'm not giving my answers based on price. It's all speculation. We see how those coins corrected after they hit tops. It's all speculation. And again, the truth sucks. But I remember getting a lot of flack for sharing these ideas that like there's no such thing as privacy coins, and anything on the internet is not private. Damn, it's really hard for me to not answer crypto questions sometimes when they're like a good question. Like that person who asked me about privacy coin, like that was I'm not being negative or mean towards them. They actually asked, Jason, by the way, asked a great question, and I like questions like that when it comes to crypto. So thanks, Jason. That was a fun question to answer. Because I know I know it hurts a lot of people's feelings to hear those sorts of truths, but it's just absolutely necessary because so many people get caught up in these titles and these ideas without deep diving into what's really going on here. Kaz Yamamoto, sending you love. Just getting some questions. We're gonna have to wrap this up soon. It's almost been 3 hours. Spend a couple more minutes hanging out with you guys. Gotta run. Yeah, I mean, besides Madagascar, probably Inner Earth. Let's go to Hollow Earth, man. Let's see what the black sun looks like. Oh yeah, somebody brought up God gave Lamst. He actually just subscribed to my channel, which was pretty wild to see that. Because a couple times people are like, who's your favorite, like who do you watch on YouTube? And I honestly, I watch Logan's videos. I'll tune into a couple things Coach JV does because it's just super motivational stuff that people definitely need to hear. And I appreciate him putting out that work. And then besides those two guys who I know, it's John Levi and God Gave Lamst. Like, that's all I take time to really watch. Besides that, I'm either making music, making content, working, or listening to music. So, yeah. But it was pretty wild to see Crater Earth guy started following me on YouTube. Hopefully he's tuning into some videos, and hopefully we could collab sometime in the future. So that guy's work has always been super inspirational to me. Not because he's right, it's because he is putting out something new into the world. Like I've shared this Crater Earth idea with people before, and they've been like, oh, that's impossible. That's not right. Like that, and I'm just like, dude, it's not about it being right or wrong. It's about that none of us know the truth because NASA's a gatekeeper, and they're a very untrustworthy gatekeeper at that. They've literally admitted that everything they share regarding imagery is composite imagery. This is just exoteric, like Wikipedia shit. Like they just straight up tell you that it's a fraud. They tell you it's a fraud. And then people get mad because Crater Earth is allegedly not the truth. It's like, shut up, dude. It's not about... It's that some human being has the ability to share a profoundly unique, genuine, like from the heart idea that no one else has really explored. And then out of all people, if he does make a mistake or like there's a flaw in his theory, he'll make a video following up and being like, okay, this is what I've corrected, and go back to the drawing board. But I guess it's easy for me to perceive his work in that way because, again, like I am also a creator, and I've learned that no art is true, no art is right, no art is good. It's all depending on how you want to perceive it. So his work changed my life in a sense because it was the first time I ever saw someone present a unique idea about such a concept and have like, I don't know if the courage is the right word, but just the uncanniness to just go for it, you know, and really explore it and to be very creative in those endeavors. And to me, it's like, how could you ever say anything negative about such a thing? But anyway, shout out to Wim. God gave Lomst, sending him all that love. True inspiration to me in my work. So respect. Anthony with the super chat says, hey Jordan, have you practiced any martial arts or combat sports? Also, have you found Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism helpful on your journey? I don't know who Marcus is, and also no, I've never practiced any combat sports. I am like as passive as it gets. I get that jiu-jitsu seems to be a very fun kind of addicting sport for some, especially intellectual types. But I'm personally not really interested in rolling around with another guy. But I mean, I find like it fascinating, and you know, all of my like people that I've really been inspired by when it comes to speech, like public speaking, were people like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. Huge, like Mike Tyson's podcasts are really mind blowing. Like that guy has so much fucking wisdom. It's amazing. But yeah, I really like how some of those athletes were like not really even athletes. They were more just like wise teachers. And, you know, so what I could say, Anthony, is that putting your body through very extreme circumstances unlocks a lot of wisdom. So, I mean, I've learned this through the practice of fasting. And I do also resistance training. I've been resistance training for over half my life. It's something that I've learned that keeps me in a mental state that is very balanced and very creative. So lifting weights and doing resistance training, life-changing. I love doing it fasted, like first thing in the morning. But, and even like, I could see like messing around with punching bag and doing that kind of stuff, but I'm just not aggressive like that. Like it's really not in my nature. I'm really passive and neutral. And I have the type of personality where like I've even seen like big buff guys acting like tough as shit, and then they'll come talk with me and they just become like a little bear, like little teddy bears. 'Cause I have like a way with people, you know? So I've learned how to scan people. I've learned how to take down people's aggressive energy. I've learned how to take people from their lower chakras and bring them up a little more to balance their energy. And this is like a very enticing feeling. Like when you do this to people, they're like, oh my God, like what's happening? Because they're so used to being aggressive and judgmental. And, you know, I'm talking about being physically with people, by the way, like if I meet somebody. So it's happened to me like going to a gym, you know, being at a show, a concert, and there's somebody super drunk and they're just aggressive and they're like, you know, pushing everyone and acting like, you know, but when it comes to them dealing with me, it's like they can't they can't act like that with me because I present myself. I know how to scan them too, which is another tactic that a lot of people aren't used to having done on them. I brought it up also in the last live stream and people were like really confused and asked me a lot of questions, but it's very simple. What I would also say though, guys, is you don't need to learn like all of this kind of stuff. What you do need to do is stop judging people When you see a big tough guy like acting all aggressive and shit, your mind is going to want to treat him and label him as a tough, big, aggressive like meathead. But you can't do that. You have to look at him as if he's a reflection of you, and look that individual in the eyes and show them that you're not going to let them treat you like that. Talk with them like you're not going to let them treat you like that. Right? When you do this with people, it confuses them because they're used to getting the energy that they get from everyone else, but that's not who you are. You're not like everyone else. The same thing goes with women. Like, so many men don't know how to work with women because you've been conditioned like to do all of this protocol type, you know? But women don't like that. Like, you have to be real. You have to be good at dealing with people no matter where they're at, and that's a wild skill. And a lot of people, because of this internet age and dealing with computers and stuff, we just have a completely different way of handling with communication because of this new type of communication taking over and becoming the predominant form of communication in our current reality. But anyways, nope, haven't done any combat sports. Also, when I think of stoicism, I've heard this brought up quite a bit in the work of who's that like venture capitalist who has that book Tools of Titans? Sorry, I'm forgetting this individual's name, but I've listened to a couple of the audiobooks. He had like 4-hour work week. Damn, Tim Ferriss. I think it's Tim Ferriss. I might be wrong. Sorry. But if you just Google this guy, 4-hour work week or 4-hour body, I think another book was Tools of Titans. Really fascinating. Again, I don't know this guy's deal. I don't know. Like, he's probably like a high level, Mason, but whatever. He's very motivated, and a lot of people that are looking to make some change in their life, they would definitely be motivated and have some things to walk away from this sort of perception and some of these tools that are shared in this literature. But yeah, hearing this concept of stoicism quite a bit in his work, it seems to be a practice that's, I would just look at it like the word neutral. I would just consider neutrality. Not getting overly excited, not getting emotional in negativity or sadness or anxiety. Just being very balanced in your, So Fuel Power Trip said you should look up Donut Factory. Well, Fuel Power Trip, I've actually done an interview with him that he just posted a couple days ago. So go enjoy that. You might find that fascinating. Ooh, medjool dates are really tasty. Yeah. If you could get like, I think in Arizona and California that they actually have real like fresh harvest where you could get them tree ripened dates. Woo. Clint H. Yes, my nickname is, well, my channel name is from Waters Above the Firmament. Correct. How much does Burning Man cost? I kind of want to know. Oh, really? Joshua says the 76ers have a snake on their courts now. That's really interesting because remember, apparently the last Pluto's return for America was in 1776. So I've done a decode very, very long ago. If like you're an OG subscriber to my channel, you'll know about a decode that I shared about artificial intelligence, and I was talking about AI, Allen Iverson, and how his nickname was the answer. And I just, that was really what I think got people excited about my work in the early stages because I was, I don't think many people were expecting that one, but absolutely amazing. It's crazy to tie all that together. AI. And think about Allen Iverson too. Like for anyone who doesn't know, oh man, this guy was like a star athlete in every sport in his high school. He was like playing every position on his football team. I think he was like the quarterback. He did punt returns, kick returns. He did like if he needed to be in a specific position for a particular play, he would like go to the be a wide receiver for a moment. Like this guy was an animal, and then he became the point guard for this. Was he drafted to the Nuggets? I don't know. I don't follow sports as much anymore. But when I was doing my decode, I was looking up a little more into him, and then that enticed me to go look up this guy's life because I'm like, whoa, this guy is coded in. Like he is absolutely a high level, entity in this big simulation, this simulacrum, or whatever you want to call what's going on here. And yeah, oh man, like someone like him, it's quite amazing once you start breaking down his code. But I think his nicknames give us all the truth right there. And I believe he wore number 3, which again is the Trinity, which comes back to the pyramid, the all-seeing eye. At least the exoteric pyramid, the one that we see that's above, not the one that's so below, because the pyramid is truthfully a Ethereum crystal. That's what the pyramid it really is, but you know what I'm saying. The point that I'm trying to make is this Pluto's return thing and how it ties back to the 76ers, and now this individual saying that they have a snake on their court, the basketball court. It's definitely making me think because Platinum Jubilee is tied to all of this as well. And that comes back to, again, the monarch and Queen Elizabeth. And yeah, wow, amazing. It's just so amazing to make all these connections. Okay, yeah, Johnny Jensen says A Bug's Life. Yeah, that's what I was talking about before when they were talking about the ants and the crickets. That was wild, man. Because I'm like, whoa. Oh, is it called Ants? I don't know. Somebody knows. Somebody knows what I'm trying to say about that movie. I'm not very good at remembering movie names. Ian in the house. Well, it's pretty funny to think about crude oil and how we were discussing that breakout in crude oil far in advance. And it had everything to do with the Shemitah, but it also has a lot to do with some other code that I was finding out with gold and that big tie into Ukraine and everything else that's going on. So I'll be sharing that on Monday if I have the time. What would you guys rather, live streams or YouTube videos? Let's see what you guys think. I'll keep doing both, but I'm just interested to hear what you guys think. Logan, sending you lots of love, brother. I appreciate you joining in. I feel like probably right when I said your name, because I brought you up a moment ago, so I don't know if you were around, but I bet like right when I brought you up, you probably got like a little tick from your higher self that was like, Jordan's thinking about you right now. That's it's so amazing how the world works like that. But that's what happens when you're tuned in, to other creatives. That's what I'm saying, guys. Like we all just need to tap into our creative energy. Seriously. Because then we could be like that as a species. And once one person's thriving, you're all helping each other out to thrive. That's such a different energy. So the Discord is part of the Mastermind Community membership. So anyone who joins the Patreon, the Mastermind Community includes Discord access. And then I also do weekly podcasts as well. G's mom says, "How do you not care?" I like questions like that, even though I don't know how to answer them. What is caring? What does caring mean to you? I think people sometimes misrepresent love and caring as them being tied to each other in some way, shape, or form. Like, see, I love, which is the infinite allowing of all the things. Caring, on the other hand, could be very fear-based. We care all the time about what's going on in our reality, even if it has nothing to do with us. All the external things that quote unquote bother us or give us stress or anxiety, it's typically a form of, it is absolutely a form of caring. But of course, like all things, we could talk about it based in duality, and we could say that caring could be good or bad. You care about your dog, you care about your sister, you care about your mother or whatever. But do you love them? Do you love those individuals? When your child and you are together, are they playing with you, or are they playing alone on a tablet and you're playing alone on your cell phone looking at Instagram? If you're at the park with your dog, are you present with your dog, or are you just there so the dog can use the bathroom? You see we're all, like I said before about yoga. If you go into yoga just because you want to, like, if a girl wants to have a better ass or a guy wants to be able to do like handstands, if that's your whole point of doing it, then you're missing the point, and you're not trying to actually gain anything of value out of this besides showing off, or you want to showcase what it is that you're doing. There's a big difference there, right? But if you're like actually taking your dog on a walk and you're present with your dog, that's a very different task. Most people, when they interact with their pets or their family or their husbands or anything in this reality, it gets the type of attention that's typically the type of attention where it's not present. It's just an existence. And this existence could be very mundane. And you run out of shit to talk about. You run out of things to explore with each other. But when you truthfully become present, you start to enjoy the silence. You know, like that Depeche Mode song. There's something beautiful about just experiencing the moment and not attaching transactional stuff to the moment. Jody, I appreciate you. Have a beautiful rest of your night. You're probably out of here already, but sending you lots of love, and I appreciate everything you're doing for us here in this community. Bonnie. That's hilarious. Oh yeah, New Malls Monday is fire. Also, if anyone's into hip hop, or I'm just art, if anyone's into art, new Benny the Butcher came out. Whew. Oh my goodness. New Benny the Butcher, Tana Talk 4, so good. So some frisky beats in that one. Talk about spicy. Yo, Ian, did you check out the new Benny? I usually send Ian music if it comes out, or he'll remind me. But new Malls Mondays, everything Malls Monday does is good. I can't name a more consistent artist, honestly. And he's talking about conscious stuff. Like his last piece that he put out, not the most recent record, but the one before it, the like EP that he put out, he was giving people financial advice. So you know that people that are from the quote unquote ghetto or the hood, they're not all built the same. And when they come out and share their art, they're not all just talking about drugs and killing people, and they're actually like Malls Monday is an inspiration because he's talking about the truth, but he's also giving advice in his lyrics, which is a very rare thing. But yeah, I'm glad that I got people onto Malls Monday from my earlier live streams that I put out. I think I was actually listening to his new EP while I was doing a live stream, and it didn't get a copyright claim. So that just goes to show you like how unknown he is, because usually the algorithm would trip up and it would give me a copyright strike for playing an artist like that. But he's probably enough off the grid and not. Oh, he's not on a major label. I forgot about that. Okay, that's probably why I didn't get a copyright strike, because he's not on a major label. Anyways. All right, my family. It's been a while. I think it's I think it's probably time to head on out of here. I appreciate all of y'all. We've made it 3 hours. Can you believe it? We've been doing these 3 hour podcasts lately. I'm reading some final. Oh man, if I kept decoding sports stuff, I think I would start to like die a little bit on the inside. So don't expect much sports things from me. The only reason I did the Super Bowl was because I saw the grand play here and its ties to Shemitah. So of course the Rams won because in Judaism they blow the ram's horn, and that it's all symbolism. And they're in Los Angeles, and California is like what they call, that Silicon Valley area, but the true Silicon Valley is actually Tel Aviv, Israel. And that's a whole other conversation when it comes to this whole globalist regime to implement blockchain and these technocrats to become cultural icons, if you will. So it's all part of the big show. And the code that was shared before that event, I mean, what's really mind-blowing about the decode that I shared with everyone regarding the Rams before that all happened? And this isn't like, I'm saying this now very humbly, but we exposed all of the ties to Skull and Bones and Yale's Secret Society Skull and Bones, and how we were talking about that number 322 and 223. And by the way, we're coming up on March 22nd soon, which again is the 322 date. I actually have 322 people in this chat right now as I said that. So this is all like coded in naturally. But anyways, the point is you guys can go to like a week before, probably almost a week before the Super Bowl even happened, and watch that decode. It was very overlooked. Very few people brought it up to me afterwards, but we exposed the actual score through the importance of the 322 and the 223, and the score ended up being 2320, which if you stack the 20 on top of the 23, it reads 223, and if you read it in reverse, it reads 322. That's the way the score would look too. You would have the first team on top, the second team on the bottom. So it's just really interesting how I felt this inclination to talk about Skull and Bones, and it was because of all these 322 and 223 connections we were making. And then boom, the whole, kind of negative aspect around the Bengal tiger, or around the tiger through the year of the tiger, made me say that I believe the Bengals would lose the Super Bowl. And then we saw how that 223 came out in the score. It was just so fascinating. And I don't watch sports. I don't pay attention to it. So it's to show you guys that just by doing this decoding stuff, you don't need to give these rituals any of your attention. You can just do your work. You know the code. Like, I'm sharing my methodology. Logan over at Decode Your Reality has his incredible methodology. I mean, mind-blowing stuff. I've even personally started to utilize periodic table recently because I'm seeing how it fits into my work, specifically with cryptocurrency and finances. Of course it does, though. Of course it does. Especially when you're seeing a lot of these names of the elements tying back to Greek words. I mean, that's a huge piece of it because, like, my work always ties back to the Greek and Roman mythologies. And Gematria is the basics started in literally the word Gematria it's derived from a Greek word, actually, but it's giving credit to the Jews, to the Kabbalist, the Talmudic practicing Kabbalists. It's just interesting. The Greeks play a huge role in all of this. So anywho, and that's isopsophy, by the way, if you're talking about specifically the Greek language and decoding, having the alphanumeric ciphers tied Greek letters to the numbers. That's called isopsophy, which is another fascinating avenue to go down, because here in cryptocurrency land, we have a couple cryptos that are just straight up named after letters, Greek letters, like theta and iota. It's fascinating, man. But yeah, shout out to Logan for his work, because I mean, it's so comprehensive, and including the periodic table is an extra layer that I haven't had too much free time to start implementing until fairly recently. And now I see the merit behind including it. So yeah, I'm really excited, especially because I'm sure you guys who watch my videos, you always hear me talking about Platinum Jubilee. Well, platinum's a metal. Platinum is on the periodic table. And you could start, looking into that code. And I believe I shared that at least, not maybe on my last video, but the one before that. So there's something here with utilizing this, the periodic table for sure. And yeah, so with that being said, it's just another great layer to add on to everything that's going on here. But we're doing this so you don't need to waste your time paying attention to the ritual. You can just look at the key words, the key terms, and do your decoding work and find your outcomes based on that. You can simply just take your intuition and your feelings on how these aspects are showing up in the code, because it's not good or bad. It's just, is it a positive or a negative aspect? That's what we did with the connection of the Year of the Tiger to what happened with Metaverse in their huge record-breaking stock crash that they had, into what led to the Bengals losing. And this was all through a decode of just looking at a simple picture. That's all you had to do. Just look at a simple picture and then tie in this tiger connecting to Jupiter with all the connections that we've shared. I know it sounds like I'm making it seem simple. I get it. It is a skill. It does require a base knowledge. But isn't it so much better to have this decoding practice rather than spending 4 hours of your day watching a fucking game and watching these silly commercials where they're making billions of dollars while there's children fucking starving in third world countries, and they're spending $10 million on a 30-second moment, and people are like rating how funny they are? It's despicable. Don't give that shit your energy. It's like the biggest waste of fucking currency ever. And people are like loving it. People say they watch the Super Bowl just for the advertisements, for the commercials. It's like, dude, you know how long it took me to decode the Super Bowl? 4 to 5 minutes tops. Like 5 minutes. You know how much energy and time I saved? I mean, I'm a busy guy. Like, I do a lot of shit. So for me to like even take the time to look into it, it was solely because I saw how it was advantageous to the rest of the year and the upcoming rituals at play. And what do you know? The next thing that happened was this conflict between Ukraine and Russia. And that's all tied into the Super Bowl as well by the code. You could see it in the symbols. So this was back to back to back things. It went from this ritual of what happened with Metaverse metaverse again about bringing the hive mind, bringing in everyone into the virtual realm, and then leveraging that through the tiger into the year of the tiger. And then they create all the psyops through the imagery, that they're giving us with these rituals through the Super Bowl, etc. And then again, you lead to conflict. Then the conflict has its quote unquote outcomes that will have surging in price of oil, which creates hyperinflation in food. It's all there, guys. It's all there. It doesn't take a lot of time. But you don't need to waste your energy giving it to the television screen with these multi-billion dollar events where people are running on a field. Anyways. Yeah, Ian, definitely check out the new Benny the Butcher album. I'll probably throw that on while I'm having a little bit of a meal before I head to sleep. I appreciate all you guys. Miss Lore, hit me up. Sending lots of love over to you in Russia. Yeah, go ahead and email me if you can, and I'll do my best to help you out. All right, family. I appreciate every single one of you. Anyone who is part of the Mastermind community, I'll be releasing a podcast this weekend. I believe it'll be Red Pill podcast number 50. So we've almost made it on one full year. We've been doing an episode a week. It's amazing. Wow. Can't believe I've even been doing that podcast this long. It's really beautiful. But yeah, here's to number 50. Cheers. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a beautiful rest of your night, and I'll catch y'all on that podcast this weekend over on Patreon. Much love, family.